Hi, welcome to day 6 of the Silent Sculpt Gentle Core Yoga Challenge. Today we'll keep building strength, control and connection through the core, pelvic floor and spine, all with safe, gentle, effective movements. Remember, listen to your body, rest anytime you feel to, and only move within a pain-free range. Let's begin lying down on your mat. Taking some time here to arrive, you have your knees bent and feet flat, finding a neutral pelvis. Hands can rest on your belly or down by your sides. Inhale wide into the ribs and back body, and then exhale, gently lift through the pelvic floor and draw navel slightly in towards spine. Keep pelvis neutral, tailbone heavy on the mat. And you might want to place one hand under the lower back, feeling the natural curve as you breathe. So inhale wide as you expand and feeling that full expansion. Exhale gently, lifting through the pelvic floor and drawing the belly button back towards the spine. And keep it going. Inhale, expanding out. Exhale, lifting up, drawing all the way up and in. As you continue here, relaxing the back body, relaxing the shoulders, the back of the head, the back of the neck, the jaw, all of the muscles of the face, space between the eyebrows, and the throat, the corners of the mouth. Feeling the connection of the feet. You might close down the eyes or soften your gaze, and taking your mind to notice the core connection here, noticing those full breaths in and the connection of the belly button back to spine as you lift all the way up, zipping up through that center line, closing the ribs and continuing. When you're ready, letting all of that go, bringing the arms down by your sides, keeping that core connection here, belly button to spine, and a neutral pelvis, feeling strong in the core. Going to float the legs up into a reverse tabletop. So knees are in line with the hips, shins parallel to the floor, core engaged and ribs closed. Starting to find a reverse crunch. So on an exhale, the lower abs, draw the knees slightly towards the chest and then return to tabletop. Keeping this going, so you can press the hands gently into the thighs for some feedback. Avoiding rocking the pelvis too far. So trying to keep the pelvis heavy as you continue here. It is your lower abs drawing the knees in. So avoiding any momentum with this, seeing if you can keep that connection of core the whole time, using your core to draw in as you exhale, and then inhale as you let the knees come out back to their original position. Great job, ribs are closed. Nice, couple more here. Maintaining that core connection, legs extend to the ceiling, then bending the knees, returning to tabletop, and toes tap down. Right toes come down, back to your tabletop, lengthening the legs back up, back to your tabletop, and the right toes tap down again. Keeping this going on the right side, making sure that you've got those ribs closed, you have a core engagement the whole time, and if you need to, you can bend the knees more. If you want to progress this further, you can add an ankle flex for control, otherwise maintaining a neutral foot, and keep it going. Last one here, and then taking the hands to the knees, hugging the knees in towards the chest, lengthening the tailbone towards the end of the mat, making some circles in one direction, taking a break, deep breath in, full breath out, and going back the other way with those circles, and finding a little massage into the tummy muscles, bringing those legs back to your tabletop position and keeping that core connection, lengthening the legs up again, then bending through those knees and toe tap on the left, and continuing on the left side, keeping this going, making sure that you are able to maintain that connection of core the whole time. The hips are in line, the pelvis is heavy, and at any time you can modify this, come out of it if you are noticing that you're getting any tension into the lower back, or you're noticing any doming or coning in the tummy. So really important that we put safety first. Make sure you're breathing, connecting your breath. So good. Last one here, and lengthening those legs and hug it in. Take a break, relaxing the tummy, relaxing the back of the heels towards the pelvis, taking any kind of movement here that feels good for you. Deep breaths in through the nose, all the way back out again. Great job. So good. And then letting the feet float all the way down to your mat, and we are staying here. Finding that connection again of the core, drawing the right knee in towards the heart center, lengthening the toes up towards the ceiling, slowly lowering the leg down and then bending the knee, drawing the knee in, lengthening the toes back up, and keep this going. It's a leg lower, and then using the low abs to draw the knee in, finding that extension of leg and lower it down. Keeping this going. As you do so, imagine that the toes are coming straight out from the hip. You might have the toes slightly turned out and the heels slightly turned in, and you are maintaining a connection of core the whole time. So only lower the leg down as low as what you can keep that core connection. So it doesn't need to be very low. You can work at your own range. And as you draw the knee in, using the lower abs to draw the knee in towards the heart. And moving slow and controlled. Pelvis is heavy. Neutral spine. Relaxing the back of the head and the back of the neck. Breathing, deep breaths. Next time the knee comes in, reversing and lengthening the leg straight out from the hip, and then with a straight leg, lengthening the toes up towards the ceiling, bending the knee, and then starting to straighten it out. Keep this going, maintaining that core connection, belly button to spine, Make sure you're breathing, moving at your own pace. Finishing here and slowly floating the foot all the way back down onto the mat with control. Let's come over to the other side, taking a moment here to find that core connection, lengthening the left toes up towards the ceiling, and begin to slowly lower the leg down. Drawing the knee in, using the lower abs to draw that knee, and then lengthening the leg back up and lowering the leg down. Beautiful, keep it going. Next time you draw the knee in, reversing this. So straightening the leg out straight from the hip, and then keeping that length as you lengthen the toes up towards the ceiling, bending through the knee, using the core, keeping that core engaged as you straighten the leg out, and keep it going. One more of these, and then slowly floating the foot all the way down onto your mat. Beautiful work. And we are going to come to a bridge. So taking your time to heel toe the feet out to about hip distance or even a little bit wider apart. Feet are flat and you can have your arms down by your sides, taking a really deep breath in, and then as you exhale, lifting your hips all the way up into a bridge. You can also stick with your pelvic tilts if you prefer, if you're not quite ready to come to a bridge today. If you want to progress this further, you can float the arms up overhead as you lift the hips up. Staying here and finding a neutral pelvis. So imagine that you have a string that is pulling the hips up towards the ceiling. So rather than so much tucking the tailbone or using your glutes, keeping your core connected and lifting up from the hips. Now you might want to lift the toes up towards the face, coming back onto the heels, staying lifted, lifting, and make sure you're breathing. Then maybe lowering the feet back to a neutral and then lifting the heels, coming up high onto the balls of the feet, keeping that lift, staying high, and then lowering the heels back down, staying with your lift here, and baby pulses up. Tiny little pulses, lifting, 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 keep it going. Breathing deeply in, feeling that strength, feeling how strong you are, and keep it going. Breathing deeply in, fully out. Few more here. We're nearly done with this. Staying strong, keeping your weight even through both feet, coming up high onto the back of the shoulders. Tiny pulses up and down. Deep breath in, full breath out, and then when you're ready, slowly lowering all the way down and releasing down, letting the pelvis release down into your mat, and taking a moment here to take a deep breath in through the nose, out the nose, and then lengthening the right toes up towards the ceiling, making little circles out and around, very small circles straight out from the hip, keeping that core connection and maintaining a neutral pelvis. So we are keeping the pelvis heavy, keeping the core connected, ribs are closed, tiny circles in one direction, and then reversing it, going back the other way. You can also make these circles a little bit bigger if you're feeling to today. Otherwise, staying with these small circles. Another option is to bend the knees slightly if you prefer. Amazing. Last one here, and slowly with control, lowering the leg down as low as what you can with a core connection, and then bending the knee in towards the heart center and lower the foot back down onto your mat. Let's come over to the left side with the same thing, lengthening the left toes up towards the ceiling, straight out from the hip, and finding those circles in one direction, keeping your core connected, maintaining a stable pelvis. And again, bending a little bit into the knee if you want to here, or you can find some slightly bigger circles if you are feeling that you're able to control the movement really well and everything is staying very still and stable, and making sure you're breathing. Don't hold your breath. And then let's find those circles in the opposite direction, going the other way. Maintaining that connection, of course, slowly lowering the leg down and then bending through the knee and drawing the knee in and floating the foot down onto the mat. Keeping that strong connection of core, so good. And let's come to our next exercise. So staying here in this position, reaching the arms up overhead, bringing the back of the shoulders back towards the mat, and then floating the arms up overhead, coming to angel arms. So find the position where you're able to keep your ribs closed and you're able to maintain the back of the arms and the back of the hands on the floor here. And you've got that neutral pelvis, your core is connected, and you're not flaring open the ribs. And then very slowly as you breathe, starting to glide the hands overhead and then bend the elbows to slide down by your sides again. Keeping this going, starting to feel into the connection here of the side waist, of the core, of the arms, the shoulders, noticing how every part is connected. And only moving those arms into a position where There is no strain, no tension. You can feel a stretch and you are able to do so without any kind of pain. Amazing. Next time the elbows come down, starting to bring the arms all the way down by your sides and taking a moment here, we're going to start to work into the side waist. So bringing the right arm out into a comfortable position and the left arm comes up and overhead, and you are maintaining that core connection here and stretching up and over as you gaze over to that right side. You are starting to find that length through the left side waist, maintaining the core connection here and letting the head follow the movement. So this should feel really good. Finding what does feel good for you with this. Seeing if you can keep your hips in a neutral position so they are both releasing back towards the mat, and it is just the side waist working here, keeping the ribs closed, coming up and over and then drawing back down to your original position. And then let's do the same thing on the other side. Left arm comes out, relaxing down. The right arm comes up and the gaze follows over to that left side. And then drawing all the way back through to the center again, keeping everything else still through the lower body, keeping the core engaged, finding that length through the right side body. Ribs are closed. Finding your breath, finding your flow. Beautiful. Coming back through center and taking a moment. Big stretch and coming all the way over to all fours. Going to find a beautiful flow here as we start to unwind, coming towards the end of our workout. So beginning in a tabletop position and finding some cat-cow. So starting to press the mat away as you round the spine, chin to chest, and then inhale, gaze up, tailbone comes up. Exhale, belly button back towards the spine, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, coming up, finding that open heart. Keep it going, flowing in any way with this that feels awesome for you. Anything at all. It might be to sit back a little bit towards the heels. Might be something completely different. So good to look after the spine and connecting the breath. You might have the eyes closed, or maybe you've got a soft gaze as you flow with this, relaxing everything out. Now let's find some hip circles, circling the hips in one direction, coming all the way around, letting the head be heavy, the spine soft, and finding your breath, breathing deeply in and releasing fully out, letting go, moving at your own pace and at your own range as you start to relax everything out, and then maybe starting to circle back in the opposite direction. Finding those big circles, finding your breath, maybe letting the breath flow out the mouth as you just let go of any little bits of tension that might have been stored there in the body. And then coming all the way back through center. When you're ready, we're going to finish off with our waterfall pose. So a few options here. You can just come up against a wall or some kind of support like the back of a couch or maybe the back of a bed, or you can grab hold of a block or bolster and placing it underneath the sacrum. So that's that flat bony part at the base of the spine and just above the tailbone. And then letting the legs float up, relaxing, letting the knees be soft, tummy relaxing, any kind of movement into the feet, the ankles, the toes. It feels really good. And taking some time here. Beautiful work today. Day 6 gave us strength, control, and release. If you feel good, continue to day 7 tomorrow, or feel free to repeat today's practice as often as you need. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the final day of the challenge. Can't wait to see you next time. Take care and enjoy relaxing it out.